Bud Wilkinson invented winning. And here at Oklahoma, we uphold the standard. This is the Champion Standard Podcast, where analytics meet film and the tailgate fuels the passion. Touchdown! From deep dives in the film room to advanced stats that tell the real story. Ready? We bring Sooner football into focus like never before. The roar of the palace on the prairie, the legacy of champions, and the pursuit of the next one. It's all right here, so lock in, because this is Oklahoma football. This is the Champion Standard.
Let's go! Let's go! Go!
Well, welcome back to another episode of Champion Standard. Tonight is Trench Warfare night. I'm joined by my compadres, Alex and JY. How are we feeling tonight, fellas, after that South Carolina game in Columbia?
I'm gonna let JY
Don't all
go
talk
first.
at once.
A lot better than I was after Texas.
That's accurate.
I don't have a paper bag over my head, so I'm doing a lot better. You know, I was ready. I was gonna put it on if the Thunder Chickens got us, man. I was throwing it on, dude. It was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But luckily we played a lot better. So
Yeah.
I'd say I don't know how you could be anything but happy with that performance across the board, right? You know, it was very close to being 26-0, if we're being honest. So just dominant both on offense and defense. Not saying it's perfect. You know, there's still certain things you can put together or do, you know, better moving forward. But to go into Columbia and get a 26-7 win and dominate like they did in that game. Obviously, Dylan Stewart got hurt. I get that. But you can only play against who's on the field. So I don't think there's anything to complain about this week going into Ole Miss.
Yeah. And I want to take a minute to kind of toot our own horn here for a minute, because as we, on our last Trench Warfare pod, JY preached, it's not aptitude, it's attitude, effort, mentality, commitment, all of that. Alex, 4 days before the game and all through the episode, Inside Zone duo, you just kept saying that's our best concept. Just stick to it, keep going. And I said, hey, we had 4 calls in the first 20 plays in Texas. The running backs were not getting their touches. You go into South Carolina, they get 10 touches in the first 20 calls, the most all season. And this was the best rushing output for the backs. Torrey looked amazing. JY, I want to kind of start with you. Have we found our identity in the run game?
well, I think anytime that you can let a group of players not have to think a whole lot, especially as a group of offensive linemen, it's going to help. You're already the slowest group of players on the field. You're the most unathletic group of players on the field, no matter what level you're at, whether it's high school, NFL, college. It's you're surrounded by people smaller, faster, quicker than you are. So you have to be very deliberate and figure out how to steal those seconds back, those steps back, because the only thing you really got going for you is the snap count, and you know where the ball's going, right? So anytime you can simplify that for people, it's definitely going to help. So, Alex called it last week with the duo stuff, and with what Arbuckle is able to do formation-wise, you're going to see a lot of light boxes. You're going to see a lot of 5- and 6-man boxes because they have teams, they have got to cover Burks. They've got to cover Satania. They've got to cover now Giovanni Gibson's getting on the field. Some of these other guys. So what's going to happen is they're going to be able to run against these light boxes for the rest of the year until teams have to do something else to stop it, right? When they start bringing extra people into the box, then you're going to start seeing some bigger plays down the field. And so I think the duo is perfect against the light box, especially that hybrid look, like a 5.5 man box is what I call it, because you got that overhang player on the outside. It's just kind of in between. It's what Kendall Daniels does in that cheetah position for the Sooners. So if they stick to this, and one of the things I always say to my guys at work, when you find something that works, don't get amnesia, right? Don't forget how you got there and what worked, because everybody wants to talk about how you learn from your failures and all this other crap, but why can't you learn from your success too, right?
Right.
Once you find a recipe, once you find a formula that works, now you got to replicate that. And then you just apply all this other stuff, because you look at, and we'll get into it in the film, but you look at the exchanges along the interior with the twists and how much better the footwork looked on, guys getting the right guys, because every scheme, regardless if it's gap, duo, if it's just inside, outside zone, each one of those things has some zone concepts in it. So taking the right player, taking the right steps, all those things, it looked light years better than it had in previous weeks. So I'm really proud of the progress they made, and I think that they're primed to go into a week this week where they should have some success against Ole Miss.
Yep.
Yeah, what do you think, Alex? Have we found
Agreed.
our identity?
What's that?
Have we found our identity?
Man, if you watch that film and then go into the next week and think you need to go completely away from that, I don't know what the hell you're watching. So I meant to go back and watch the Bama game last year, because I want to say it was a lot of, if I'm not mistaken, it was a lot of duo or inside zone last year against Bama that worked. I could be wrong, because I haven't gone back and re-looked at it. But just the success they were having, the constant, I mean, it was 4-5 yards a pop. You know what I'm saying? It just constantly, you're ripping off runs right up the middle of that defense. Coming back 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. That kind of stuff just wears the defense out, man. And watching that O-line fire off the ball, taking care of their responsibilities. You saw a few issues obviously that happened, which is going to happen every week. JY can speak to this more than me. I'm sure you're never going to have a game where your O-line executes every play that, to perfection, right? There's just going to be things that happen that the linemen can throw you off. The way linebackers are moving or flowing can throw you off. But just the way that they stuck with it. But also we have to talk about the fact that you have two running backs that have really impressive vision, right? That are north and south running backs. They're not these kinds of running backs that want to bounce outside, string plays out wide. You now have two guys that are really effective with inside zone and duo that you can continue to build off this performance, man. So I'm excited to see what they can do against this Ole Miss defense.
Yeah, if they decide to obviously major in inside zone and duo, there is so much like easy installed auxiliary plays that you can build upon through the season and layer into it that are not too expensive in the install to really even bust open. So like if they can go into this next week against a run defense that we've kind of talked off air about that's not very good, they can still go into this Ole Miss game and run the exact same stuff that they just ran against South Carolina. Don't have to do much of anything and still be able to go through next week and start adding some layers to it. But yeah, I think they definitely found their identity. I think it's like Alex, you all pod was. I think I went back and looked. You said downhill mentality like 15 times in that podcast. But it's true though. It's getting downhill in a hurry, and I like the way that they took the tight end They went from Y off and moved it to that sniffer roll to it pushed more drive force, more emphasis on just going north and south. Helps that tight end position better. You saw guys like JY mentioned the defensive ends and tackles with the twist game. They're always playing games, and it felt like our offensive line were communicating well before the snap, pre-snap. They knew it was a nice flow to it. You got 5 guys that all have to be on the same page, and so there's a tremendous amount of communication on the line that you don't really quite see, from the stands and everything, because they don't have body language and everything. They could be sitting there talking to each other. It definitely felt like some of the games that the South Carolina tried to play, it wasn't happening. I liked, as far as like some of the technique goes, I mean, technique didn't change. We're still doing our double unders. We're still doing our gallop technique. It was just all the guys were just on the same page, kept it simple, downhill mentality. So yeah, it was awesome to watch. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah. That first drive, I was like, dude, please do this the whole game.
I know, me too. I was like, don't it was what Jay Wise mentioned, like amnesia. Don't forget what just had success.
Yes.
Like, just if it had success, just do it again. It had a success again. Okay, do it again, and just do it until they have to stop it. It's that.
And we got to give credit to Arbuckle. I don't really recall any time throughout that game where it felt like he tried to get cute, like Jay Wise mentioned before. It never seemed like he ever went into a bag of like, well, I need to pull this out now and see if it'll work. Nope. We just stuck with it and stayed committed to it, and that paid off. So, yeah.
All right, guys, are we ready to jump into the film, or you guys want to look at anything else?
Always.
I'm ready.
Ready? All right, let's do it. Hell yeah. Gotta get us set up here for a second. Before we start, everyone who's watching, please like, comment, subscribe. We do a trench warfare, somewhere in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday night. Brad and I have our instant reaction show on Sunday evenings. We try to push out as much content as possible in our limited time. You got an hour and a half of episodes that are just jam packed. So hit that likes, hit that subscribe. All right, guys, let's go to the top, and let me get set here. I looked at on Sunday. I looked at maybe 1 or 2 plays, but run plays. I mostly looked at like the passing stuff. So going through this, really, I haven't had a chance since Sunday to really look through this. But we're gonna look at this third play. Alex, was that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This is the you remember they got called for holding, and then Blaylock. I believe this is I want to say this is duo to start as our first run play, and this is where he picks up 18. But you'll see it come together.
Yeah, this is duo.
Yep.
Sorry, I go in here and I draw all kinds of stuff.
No, you're fine. Yeah, the end zone view is gonna be great.
Torrey's, he's gonna be so good, man. He's gonna be so good for us in the next couple of years. Yeah, so you're getting your double.
Yep.
This duo left. You got your double block. You got this overhang that's kicking out. That's where, JY was saying, like, the overhang are just like vacating.
He's kind of there, but he's kind of not.
He's in conflict. He has to honor what's going on the outside,
Yep. So yeah, one thing that popped off to me immediately is watch how quickly Ozeata picks up that the 4-eye right here. Watch what the 4-eye does and how quickly Ozeata shifts to the linebacker. He doesn't follow.
Yep. Very smooth.
He immediately carries up.
And you watch what Michaela did too there, off of that backside, off of the actual duo right there, getting up to that backer. So those 2 blocks right there really made it go.
Yep.
And you have to be able to do that. That's why you always hear me talking about playing with your eyes. You have to keep your head up, because you can't hit what you can't see, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah, I had somebody on Twitter try to tell me Michaela was holding on that play.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, no, it's not a hold.
No,
now,
that looks
right
like
here,
a defender giving up on his ass.
Right.
He's
just tried to dive, and Michaela just buried him. Now, right here, JY, if we can go back a little bit to where Michaela is still connected on the D tackle on the combo. Right here, JY, just to get into the nitty gritty of it, the way he comes off, he comes off and then he gets square again.
Right.
Is that what you want to? Is in that situation, because the play's going left? Do you want him to? Should he get square again there, or would you rather him move laterally to his left to try and work the seal?
Well, he's got the most important thing to me, if I'm teaching this, is don't stop, because a lot of times as a young offensive lineman, especially, you want to block it exactly how your offensive line coach wants it blocked, or the offensive coordinator. And I think sometimes that guys will get frustrated and they'll just quit on the play. Right.
Gotcha.
But the thing that I liked, again, the most important thing there is Michaela keeps going, and he actually drives him into the hole. Right. But because he stuck with it and he didn't let him go, he gave his back enough time to get through that hole and that little crease right there. Now, it's not always going to be pretty. Right.
Exactly.
In a perfect world, you've got to get north and south. You want him to post up that left hand. But if you go back to the see how his head is right there?
Yep.
Right off the snap. Watch Michaela's head. Watch his eyes. So as soon as 44 goes, he understands somebody's got to take this A gap. Right? You see there, he's looking at number 17. He's feeling 44, but he's looking at 17. So he knows it's coming, but he can't disengage too fast. If he disengages too fast, then he screws Wee-Woo. He screws his buddy. You can't do that. So he stays with it to make sure Wee-Woo takes it over, and then he comes off at the last second, which is ideally what you got to do. And now this is where the character, the toughness, the technique, all those cliches and qualities and intangibles you're talking about, comes in right here. So, and good for Blaylock just putting his foot in the ground and getting north and south right here. And he runs through that trash. You hear guys talking about running through the trash. Now, the only mistake that Blaylock makes is he gets too flat. Right here, I would like to see him still going flat. Go north and south, right up inside of Giovanni Gibson's block on the outside, right? As he goes outside, instead of getting too flat right there, just go and carry that safety, because that safety right there has got his hips turned. It's right there that guy. And you can probably carry him 2 or 3 more yards, but when you're lateral like that, you don't have a whole lot of power. But
for sure.
So long-winded, but I hope that answered your question.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I was looking at it earlier because it happens again with Michaela later on in the game on duo, where he tries to release to connect on the linebacker, and the linebacker is able to cross his face, and I believe he makes the tackle because of how he releases off that combo. But no worries. I was just wanting to ask
if we could go back to that too, I'd like to look at Ozeata on that first play, and I know it's just looking at that first play over and over, but Ozeata, I thought, made the biggest strides, no pun intended, made the biggest improvement rather out of anybody. How smooth he was compared to what we looked at last week, and he's doing a pirouette out there. Like right there, it's real easy to get out over your toes and try to chase that 93 outside, but he's patient and he understands through the teaching that everybody wants to fire Coach Biedenbow, but Coach Biedenbow has taught him, that guy's going to come to you. Somebody's got to have that inside gap. So that 93 is not going to go outside and then leave that gap unmanned. If anybody was holding on this play, it's Fasusi, right? Because he's lucky. He disengaged at the last minute right here and let him go. But Fasusi's got to be a little bit better with his feet right there. not let that guy run the hoop on him. But as far as being smooth and understanding what the defense is going to do and being where you need to be, that is much, much, much improved for Ozeata. That is a big time improvement on the very first play of the game.
Yep. Agreed. He definitely played a lot more physical and like he had a chip on his shoulder this week compared to what we saw versus Texas. No doubt.
Well, and for fat guys, man, losing your job is the greatest motivator, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's a big deal. You don't want to lose your job. So whatever study you got to do, putting in that extra work so you get it between the ears, that's a big deal.
Yep. Yeah. So this is, what do we have? This is the inside zone. We talked about the physicality, right, JY, and how it improved. I brought this play because I want you to watch Fasusi. Look at the movement he generates when he blocks down on that combo, and then I want you to watch him pick up this linebacker when he flips around right here. Watch what he does. See, these guys are playing physical, man. That's another what is that? A 6-yard run, 5-yard run right up the middle. It was
if he drops his pad level down probably about 6 inches to a foot and hits that guy with his shoulder, he puts his lights out.
Yep.
Right? Because that guy got the better of that. Yeah. Love the intent, but like when he comes off right here on 17, he's got to bend his knees. The intention is to, you hear Mel Kiper talking heavy-legged waist bender. You got to bend your knees right here and get your hips in 17's chest. Pulls that guy smooth up. So that's just little refinement stuff that Fasusi's going to get better at, because he could get away with poor technique like that in high school. He can't do that now. He can't do that. Yeah. So there's little stuff like that, right? And he won't get blown back, and it may give Blaylock a little bit better opportunity to carry that guy a little further and not get slowed down off his hip.
I do like the attitude at the end of this play, though. he gives him a little shove, like, I'm gonna come back for you.
Yeah, so right there on that combo, JY, that's what you're talking about. If you go back just a little bit, he needs to be a little bit further down underneath him, right inside his rib cage, is where you want that contact made, not where he's basically just on his shoulder almost, pretty much. He's got his hand on his hip, but just a little lower.
Yeah, it looks like it's not much.
It looks like the D line's slanting here. You got 33 and 34 that are trying to get across their gap. It looks like 33 is trying to go close that A gap there.
Now I like the displacement he still creates off of it, but like you said, he has to flip around.
Yeah, and this is understanding that you got out there. Is that Caden Helms out there at that tight end position there? Caden misses on that, but this is Fasusi understanding that outside player belongs to Caden Helms, or that outside gap. So his primary responsibility is his inside that B gap, right? But as they go on the double team and that 33 kind of moves towards the A gap a little bit to head up on Ozeata there, he starts looking for work. This is very unique. You don't see this a lot. And especially for a young player, looking for work on an inside zone run game play is very next level type stuff. You don't see this very often. You'd see the guy, he would ride that double team and come off on that number 0, and then 17's unblocked. But he's like, okay, he went in the A gap. That's not mine anymore. I got to get back out here, because that means somebody's coming, right? Defenses are not going to leave gaps unmanned.
Not on purpose, no.
And so that's quick thought. I've got it. Somebody's in this gap. I don't know who it is, but so now dipping your hips again and getting low, right here on that 17.
Yep. And I like it too, because what you see with, like you said, JY, when Fasusi comes off that combo or is about to come off the combo, he's still engaged with 33. He's looking at 0 and he sees 0 shift left, and that's when he immediately peels back out. So he works it inside out.
Right.
So what's going on this right
And Charlie's
side?
right. If you show that you see it. And here's the thing with Blaylock, he's usually got really good vision. He just kind of missed it here. Understandable.
Well, and that's just it, especially for a young back. A lot of times, DeMarco Murray, Arbuckle, they're going to be on him. Hey, stay with the play, stay with the play, stay with the play. As he gets more comfortable and as he gets, gets his sea legs under him a little bit, he's going to hit that backside lane that pops open.
Yep. But it's definitely nice to go technically not the through the right hole and pick up 7.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Because yeah. So now the teaching for Satania right there, he's got to be more aggressive on that block, because if he does decide to cut that back, you got to get more on that if you're Satania and wash that guy by the hole. You right? So
yep. Now on this play, obviously we know this is the touchdown run. We were just talking about Caden Helms. Watch him here on this play. He plays physical enough here on this D. It's either the DN or the linebacker. I'm trying to remember, but you'll see on the end zone camera. He does a nice job on. I think it is on 12. See, Ozeata falls. Fasusi picks up his man, and then Helms does a good job driving 12 downfield.
Yeah, that's solid work, man. I mean, when tight end blocking, I mean, you'll take a stalemate as a win with tight end blocking. Getting a drive there, a couple of yards.
I didn't even notice this watching it live. Look at Gibson. Is that Gibson coming across right there? Look at that.
He's got to be really careful to get his head in front right there. You know,
yep. Could get a clip.
Because
is that Gibson or is that 84?
I think. Hold on. Let me
maybe is it Jermichael Carter?
I think it's Carter. I think it's
you're right.
I think it is. Yeah, it's Jermichael.
Yeah.
Let me go to the wide cam and see if I can
just decleats him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's close to being a clip.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, he's got to. I mean, that's one of those borderline calls that they could call it all the time if they wanted to. But you know, I know only the calls only go our way according to a lot of fan bases. But you know,
but again, like we were talking about with Blaylock, last play we just showed, he could have gone right and picked up a much bigger play, right? Then he comes right back and look at his vision. Look at that.
Yep.
Dude, pay dirt. I mean,
he doesn't get enough credit for how fast he is because he doesn't have a lot of herky-jerky movements. He's so smooth that he doesn't look as fast as he actually is.
And just terrific feet, man. Yeah, no, he's one of those, you give him a seam, man, he's gone. So.
Yeah, which is awesome. I mean, we haven't had that in a long time.
No.
This is really great work by Fasusi right here. Again, it's not perfect. You'd like to see him get his head out in front of that guy. He's too high. Again, pad level continues to be a struggle for him. And if you're Ozeata here, you got to stay on your feet. Because if Ozeata stays on his feet right here, then Fasusi's able to get a better block on him. But he leaves him hanging because he falls down.
Yep.
You got to come straight off the ball. You got to come straight off the ball with your left foot if you're Ozeata. Get something on that guy, but that's why Fasusi looks so bad, because he just whiffs and falls down.
Yeah, he lunges. Look at his feet right there. What is he?
Yeah.
He almost looks like he's hopping.
Yeah.
It does look like he's hopping.
He hops a little bit laterally, and then he just clubs him out of the way.
Yep. So this is just being supremely talented by Fasusi. You guy leaves you hanging, and it's not pretty, but don't hold and just get some movement on this guy, and then Blaylock able to make the most out of it.
Yep. Nice, man. Nice job by Helms and Jermichael, man.
Yeah. Huge by Jermichael there. He made that play because he knocks him into 17, right? Watch this.
Yeah, takes out 2.
Yeah. Even though the guy didn't get knocked down, it caused him to not get into play.
Yep.
That's always fun.
So right there, back-to-back plays, you see guys making mistakes, right? Helms misses his block. Blaylock goes to the left when he should have gone right, and then they come right back, and both of them take care of business on the next play, which is exactly what you want to see.
Yep.
This is another nice run. Look at that, dude. Jeez. Just
He's
easy.
so fast.
Gets up in the field in a hurry, man. Yeah, on Sunday pod, I said this was like one of the worst linebackers I've seen on film this year.
Oh, really?
He was wild, man. He was like Kenneth Murray his first year, just wild. all over the place. Now, this Kenneth Murray was a way better athlete than this guy, but he just wanted no business. You were talking about controlling gaps, JY. This is his gap, and he completely just says, I don't want any part. I don't want any part taken on a lineman. I'm just gonna bounce out. I'm cool. You can have it. And our guy, is that Simmons? It looks like it's Simmons. Yeah, it's Simmons. You just don't have to do anything. Just
that's good feet. Nice job with his feet there, ceiling. And look at him, Weiwu just driving 93.
Yeah, 93 is trying to try to split this, and Weiwu was having none of that.
Now, like JY said earlier, he could get lower here to generate more movement, but he does just enough to give him a hole.
He's trying to pin that A gap as best as he can, but Weiwu wasn't.
Look at that, dude. That is so easy.
He sticks his foot in his ground, and he goes, man.
Yeah, his burst is big time.
Yeah, he's got to get better pad level off of that, and root that guy out. That's why when you hear him calling the hogs, that's what offensive linemen are, hogs. You got to root them out of there. You got to pick him up and dig him out of that hole.
Yep.
So, but that's why the both of you together ought to be benching 700 pounds, 800 pounds. That's why. You've got to be able to hit that guy with force, strike that guy off the line of scrimmage and move him, right? Because in a perfect world, you don't want Weiwu to turn his hips sideways. You want to hit him with your left shoulder if you're Weiwu, right? But he's looking for 17 coming over the top. That's why he turned right there. He's thinking he's going to come into the hole. So he turns, and you can see his face looking at 17. But in a perfect world, you move that double team back so 17 gets caught up in the wash.
Yep. Yeah, and 17 tries to go through that A gap and he gets caught up.
Right. Yep. And you're right. It's piss poor technique by number 7 there. He ought to be hitting Simmons with his left shoulder and staying in that B gap right there.
He did that a lot in this game. He wanted nothing to do with taking on our guards or anything. I don't know. I told Brad on Sunday, I was like, if he was my player, I'd take him off the field because that.
Look at that, man.
Anyway, but
I think on his part, honestly, Rob, I think what's going on right there is I think he thinks that the ball's going outside because he sees Canick going across in that split zone, right?
Right.
So he takes one false step and it throws him out a whole gap.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the end zone shot, you'll see what I'm talking about right before Simmons contacts him. You look at where his eyes are. His eyes are lying to him.
Also, the fact Simmons stayed square caused him, I think, to not know what he needed to do here. If Simmons turns his hips and comes at him at an angle, 7's probably just shooting that A gap.
Yeah.
Or B gap, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, JY.
Yeah, watch number 7's head. It looks directly outside at Canick right at the last second. Watch his head. And then he's like, oh, crap. Ran by me.
Yeah. Nobody there.
Yeah.
And see, Canick didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
9 just runs himself right out of the play.
Yeah.
They did that a lot, man.
Yeah.
They were taking their DNs and they were shooting up field, and anytime we did any of our like arc stuff or any of this split zone or slice motion taking out, I mean, it made it easy blocks for our tight ends. You don't have to do anything. You just give them a little push on their outside shoulder just like he does, and they're out of the play. They're gone. Slot whip.
Yeah. So hit pause real quick.
Sure.
So on this right here, I threw this in. I know we were wanting to go over the zone and duo plays a lot, but this was something that I'm not sure if they even talked about this on the live broadcast, but watching the film back, I noticed it. This is the play when Mateer tries to hit Satania on a whip route right here, but he puts it out too far in front of him and they can't complete it.
Right.
We then go into, I think it's 3rd and 7, and I believe that's when Arbuckle calls a timeout from the sideline. And he signaled something to Mateer. Mateer walked over to him. Well, on 3rd down, I think out of the timeout, you'll notice we come out and it's in a different formation. but they run the exact same play and hit it for a first down.
Yeah.
So here's the incompletion. Here's the incompletion right here. And in the very next snap, very next play, you'll see that they come out, they run stacked twins on both sides.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the end zone view. You can go to the next one. I think they motion Blaylock they motion Gibson across, go into a twins look, stacked, and now watch what they do. Exact same thing.
Yeah, so what South Carolina was playing here, when you get in a stack or any of these bunches, you play what you call combo coverages, and you've got your top hat, and you've got your point. And through the game, at least through the first 3 quarters, they were having the corner take the point, and then they were having the safety take the top hat, which opened up all this inside, all the slants and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I added where South Carolina on our final drive switched it. They switched the responsibilities to where the corner took the top hat and then the safety took the point. And so when we would run our slant, they were undercutting it, and then they were basically, playing off man off of the other. Yeah. But Ben Arbuckle saw what they were doing with that and was just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna. I know what they're running. I know I know that this corner is trying to take the point, and it's leaving all of this open space in the middle of the field. This guy has to go in there and basically drive on it, and I know my guy can take that pass. I know Mateer can drive it in there, and we did that for 3 quarters. Yeah. Just picking apart with that. And South Carolina, I think I'll pull it up real quick. I think it's this one. So this is our final drive, and we're all like, go score. Let's take him out. There's your motion again. Yeah. And then watch the corner here. He was pointing up. I got top hat. That's the signal. Top hat. When they were going into cover, flipping. When they were going before, they would just point. So that some teams will tap the top of their helmet. Yeah. They were like top hat. So then when we ran that same slant and then go, they were able to match up on it better. And then we ended up taking a sack there. Yep. But that was good by Arbuckle. I mean, if they're not going to adjust, just keep running it. I mean, if you know that the safety's got the top hat, and you just run a little return route or a little slot whip route. Yep. Easy yards.
Makes 2 people miss. That's nice.
He did that at Washington State in bunches too.
Really?
He's kind of So we would go into, and he would get into a bunch, and would have a little bunch, and when you got your corner, well, he'll figure out Arbuckle will figure out what signal that they're running on that combo coverage, and he will adjust his routes in order to attack it. It's pretty neat.
Charlie had a question for you on that last clip about Kanak, I think. Or is that he may be talking about the run to Blaylock out of the end zone. Let me see.
Not that one.
Where's Kanak? Is he even on the field here?
I don't think he is actually.
I think he's talking about the end zone run.
End zone run?
Yeah. He's asking if y'all see it. He said, shouldn't he be locked on that DN, or is he supposed to be heading upfield, or is he window dressing?
His job is to kick him out, but because the edge is just screaming upfield, he doesn't have to do anything. Exactly. He's just going to hit that outside shoulder and let him just go.
Just don't let him go inside of him is the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. And this isn't a zone read. If this was he was holding it and he was looking at it, whatever, but the DNs for South Carolina were so aggressive. They were taking themselves out of the play so much. And that, or any of our split zone or your slice blocks like that, they were much easier on the tight ends because these DNs weren't trying to box it. Usually when they're run up, they see this tackle go inside, right? What do? They kind of flutter out here. They kind of feather, waiting for that block to come in and to take it and try to collapse that, or at least try to constrain that space that he's vacating here, and instead these DNs were just shooting up field.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I think that's the play he was talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if that's the play you're talking about, Charlie, in a way, it's both. His responsibility is that DN, but it is also window dressing because he's trying to grab the attention, which is exactly what happens, like JY pointed out with number 7. Look, it grabs 7's attention and gets him out of position.
Yeah, because it was clear with all they were accentuating with their DNs to attack Mateer. Because up to this point, outside of the Temple game, Mateer has been the run game, right?
Yep.
So they were not going to allow Mateer to beat them. They were trying to do exactly what Texas did, right? But Arbuckle luckily learned from his mistakes and adapted.
Yep.
There we go.
So this is inside zone again, but this time you get to see it with X-Man. Yeah. So again, it's nice to have 2 backs that you can be successful with, no matter whichever one's on the field. So just watch how this comes together right here.
There's that DN screaming upfield again, taking himself out of the play.
And as Canick and Helms get a little bit more experience, if that guy crosses your face and he's going that hard, just turn upfield.
Yep.
Right? Turn upfield.
Yeah.
He's taking himself out of the play. You're not getting anything on him anyway. But if you see that guy cross your face, go up and hit that safety right there.
Yeah. I guess the only reason why he's concerned is it looks like with it being a possible zone read that Mateer may pull it. So he could blow it up. But like you said, if it's a called give, get upfield. And then if he does, man, that may have been 6. Because Burks does a nice job blocking on the edge too on this clip. Watch Burks up top, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He does a really good job.
That's a nice
our wide receivers block well. They really do.
Look at him. He keeps attacking downfield. If he stays connected, a little longer, it's a bigger play. But still, he gets a nice chuck on him in his chest to give X-Man more room. Right there.
And the thing Helms and Canick got to do here also is they got to stay a little bit under control. You got to understand that you can't be going for the kill shot on this block, right? You've got to stay under control and get something on that guy. So it's finding that happy medium, and the only way you get better at it is doing more of it, right? Canick, first year as a tight end. Helms, first time healthy, right? So at game speed, the more you do it, the better you're going to be at it, right? And this is why you heard me last week and many times before. This is why it's so important to watch yourself in film work. You watch yourself and you see what you did wrong. And then when you go out and practice, you make a conscious effort to do different things that are going to help you be more fundamentally sound.
Yep. And then if you go back to it real quick, Rob, just to cover a few more things on that last clip with X-Man, is you'll see the combo again when the linebacker fills inside the left side A gap. He gets taken out of the play, so then Simmons, because in Waywood is in Michael again combo on the I think if he was a 1 tech, I can't remember what he was. Yeah, yep. The 1. Watch, they'll combo, and then the middle linebacker right here just takes himself out of the play, or he shifts over right. But watch 17, he shoots right through the A gap. So Simmons goes, all right, I'm just moving up to the second level and picks up the play side linebacker.
Yep.
So right when that happens, X-Man has all the daylight in the world. Yep. Look at that. And what's funny is he could have gone left or right.
Yeah, there was that.
Because when Simmons picks up the play side backer, watch, he could cut left if he wants. Now the pursuit from the inside's coming, so it's better that he went right. But if he goes left, he's still getting downhill and picking up 10 to 15 yards probably.
Running right at the ref right there.
Yep.
That's just great vision on his part.
Yep.
And that's really good, him using Burks as a shield right there too, because some guys just are natural and they got a good feel for it. And he's one of those guys.
Yeah. I love his vision and his patience, man. And like you said, JY, the fact that he's 240 helps too.
Oh, yeah, he's baby Eddie Lacy, man. That's who that kid reminds me of. You know.
There's that.
Another one.
If
Look
you're
at
able to
here's
hang
another
on
one
to
with
him,
the vision.
God, I hope this staff stays together and this offensive line stays together. They're both babies, right?
Yep.
They're gonna, in 2 years. How good are they gonna be doing this?
Yep. Because X is a redshirt fresh, right?
Yes, I
Yep,
believe
redshirt
so.
fresh, and so him and Blaylock will both be sophomores next year.
Right.
So again, what this is here, we got duo here. Watch what X does. Look at the vision here to feel it, to see and feel this immediately. Watch.
Yep.
He's flowing left, immediately cuts it right. Look at that.
Yep.
5-yard gain.
And if you look at that outside player right there that he runs over, if you go back to that view. So as soon as he gets right here, stop. So you see that right shoulder of the linebacker who has his foot on the cat emblem? That is called a soft shoulder, right? You hear coaches all the time teaching soft shoulder cuts. And what that means is that guy's strong shoulder, or hard shoulder rather, is where the cat emblem is. It is his left shoulder. So if you cut outside that guy's got strength. But his soft shoulder is his right shoulder because he's got his hips turned. So you might not get past him, but you're going to carry him for 2 or 3 yards. And I think a lost art is guys teaching the soft shoulder cut. You see guys set guys up outside and then cut back up under as a result of it.
Yep.
Soft shoulder cut all the time, man. You know, and you'd like Ozeata to be able to stay on his guy a little bit longer there. You see his linebacker get loose, right? You know, so, and that's who ends up ultimately making the play. But that's hard for Ozeata to get over there. In a perfect world, you got to get more movement on that double team from Wee Woo and Simmons.
Yeah, they're both too high.
Yeah, I was going to say we're really
too high. Pad level.
Way high.
Yep.
And honestly, right there, Ozeata's carrying to the middle linebacker right here, which is 17. Simmons, wouldn't you rather see Simmons peel off here and pick up him?
Yeah, and like as soon as I said that, that's why I kind of backtracked there a little bit. In the perfect world, what you want is you got to get him and Wee Woo get more vertical movement on that. And then, like you said, Simmons come off and cut that, because what you want Ozeata doing, my coach Scheibel in college used to tell us all the time, don't chase linebackers. And what that means is if you chase linebackers, you just end up clogging up the lane for your running back if he's on a cutback. So, you know, he does okay right there, but what you want him doing, Ozeata's got to look outside here and get that number 23 that's coming up.
Yep.
That you see him up there outside the deep right there, that guy.
Yep.
And then he doesn't get in the way, right? Because ultimately, you're right, that is Simmons' block. But they've got to get more movement on that, and that's the hard part. That's where the physicality comes in. That's, you know, pad level technique. I don't like, you know, and this is me. I know I'm old, you know, but I don't like the guys coming up without a 3-point stance. You're already starting off too high, right?
Gotcha.
But
makes sense.
But you know, you got to pass protect too. So you know,
the only one that starts off in a 3-point stance, go back real quick, Rob, is Ozeata. And well, obviously Michael.
Yeah.
No.
And Wee Woo does too. So
is he? Is Wee Woo's hand on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But then you'll notice. Watch X Rob. He sees 23 coming into the hole immediately. So
that's why he cuts it back.
Right. Yep. He sees it.
If Ozeata blocks 23, he's gone down that left gap.
Yeah, I think kind of the moral of this play is that the offensive line could have all blocked it better, but you have a running back that took the most of it and got positive yards on it, kind of making your O-line look good. I mean, that's what's been kind of missing from the running back position, is that, like we've said at the top of the show, that the offensive line's not going to be able to block every single dang play textbook, and you're going to have guys that are going to be too high. You're going to have, combo blocks that maybe should have been communicated a little bit better. but your running back still makes the most of it and gets you what we've been wanting out of this rushing attack, and that is a 4 or 5 yard gain. So,
Yep. Look at
You're exactly
Ozeata's
right.
feet right here. Go back right here, right before he contacts. Okay,
yeah,
right here.
there.
See that?
What is?
He's crossing his feet. See, so that right foot right there, he's wanting, as a human being, if you try to walk down the hall or if you try to take a left or take a right in normal everyday life, your body is going to want to carry that left foot across your body. That's what the natural movement is. But as an offensive lineman, you negate every bit of power if you take that left foot, and he's fighting his mind right here. He's telling himself, I can't do that, right? So he's trying to correct his footwork. That's the biggest thing for Ozeata. He wants to put that right foot, his right foot has to be in the ground right next to Michaela right here. And that's why they don't get any vertical movement on this A gap right here. Okay. You see how he's kind of leaning to the right and he's a little off balance and they really don't get any movement right there. That's why he's stepping with the wrong foot, right? Because in a perfect world, and I know we got to take a shot every time I say in a perfect world for you drinking games guys out there, but in a perfect world, you want to see both numbers of all four of those guys on those double teams right there, right? You want to see flat backs. It looks better on the right, but ultimately you want, because he stepped with the wrong foot right there, that's why he kind of opened the door there a little bit, and he can't see that number 23 out to the left. If he steps with the right foot, it helps him stay square, and then he's able to come off and pick up that number 23. They get more movement, washes out the Mike linebacker, and then X-Rob's running down, right down the middle of the field.
See what I'm looking at, JY, from what it looks like he's doing, and he's the only one that does it, and Weiwu doesn't do it. It looks like he's using the gallop technique.
Yeah, it's kind of a hop. I mean, because you like Weiwu doesn't do it. You see, he's very deliberate with that first step. You see that for Weiwu over there? See his left foot goes in the ground. It helps him stay square.
Yep.
That's what ultimately you want to see. So I don't know if this is the right place to use the gallop technique. I think it's just more of a brain fart on his part. And he's like, oh crap, I gotta. So the battle for Ozeata is in between his ears right now, and getting his body to do what his mind knows it should.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. In my playing career days in high school, I have had feet that were that bad, and my coach would call it skipping like Goldilocks. Like stop skipping like Goldilocks.
Well, I think Ozeata just got himself a new nickname, Goldilocks. So
I like Ozeata.
I like him too. He's a great kid. I mean, if there's any player on the offensive line that reminds me of me, it's him, right? Because he is a blue-collar kid. He's not blessed with overwhelming athleticism. He's tough. He's gritty. He's going to turn himself into a player out of sheer will, right?
Yep.
That is Ozeata. I love that kid. I think he's going to be really good. It's only his second year. It's just he has to program his mind to get it there. And the little stuff like this is what's preventing him from being extremely physical right now.
Right. Yep.
But I'm with you, man. I love the kid.
And he's a redhead too, like Goldilocks.
There you go.
But yeah, as you see there, you only had one lineman carry up to the second level, and you needed to see somebody carry up to the second level on the right side, and you did not see that. And it was the way that they played that combo that made it to where they couldn't. Neither one of them released. So.
Yeah. Oh. And really, what it is the old inside veer, right? If you want to go back way back, right? You got to get more movement on those double teams, and it's going to wash out those linebackers and make your secondary blocks much easier.
Yep.
Oh, here's another.
But like you said, example. Rob, having a back like X-Man makes it look better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
here's another example of, I call it shield in the in my book. So you see the defensive back, he's pointing, he points, point, I got point, and we're just gonna run a slot and then a slant. Oh my gosh, I cannot draw. I think this is the fourth play of the game. Yeah, this is the fourth play of the game.
Yeah, it was a nice play. Good ball by Mateer too.
We lived on that, man. Arbuckle knew what he must have saw that on film and was like, I'm gonna get in these stacks and bunches, and I'm gonna wait for them to make their call, and then Mateer on the same page he's gonna know where to put that ball. I think that's all our plays, man. Is there any others that you wanted to see, or
what was the other play that I wanted to that I thought about going over? Was it play 31? It may have been 31. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, did you send me a text?
I didn't. No, I didn't send this one to you. I didn't end up sending it, but yeah, try 31. Let's see if it's that one. Go back up.
Split back, wide zone read.
Yeah, this is the touchdown by X-Man.
I like the split backs, man. I wish we had one more back just to kind of spell just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I getting the split back look even with Kanik, maybe you can maybe have Kanik as kind of your. I feel like they're gonna do something with this, guys. I think this is they're working. We've talked about having maybe Kanik get some more playing time, maybe getting a little bit more touches, maybe even get some running back touches. I think if you do it, I think you could do it in split backs because Kanik is not terrible at blocking. I mean, on the GY blocking maybe, but GY counter stuff. But this,
look at that.
I feel like, and then I remember this one where Ozeata basically takes him. It's like, come on, buddy, we're getting to the end zone.
Yeah, and it was mostly this is when he bobbled the handoff, but then and then he just creates after that, makes the guy miss once he gets past the first level. Again, downhill backs, right? Not a lot of wasted movement. Just get north and south, one quick little cut, and upfield. It just makes all the world of a difference. I see my dad correcting me on here saying Goldilocks with a blonde. I don't remember that movie. I think that movie is, I haven't seen it in a long time, so whatever.
Well, he's not wrong, but
right. He's right.
But yeah,
I do. Yeah, go ahead.
No, if you look at Ozeata's feet here again, he's doing the hop here. He's got to get that refined a little bit, and he gets turned. I know they're doing inside, they're doing some zone here, but watch him. See how he turns? We don't want to turn. We want to stay square, right? And then he's able to get up to that linebacker a little bit easier. He almost turns his back, right?
Yep.
So,
and
then he's able to come out the other side.
I think Fasusi does a
what you want to see from Fasusi here, right here, JY, correct me if I'm wrong, is he needs to obviously get across the face of the 3-tech, but then you want him working upfield. But instead, his shoulders are pointed towards the sideline, and they're just moving laterally. There's no upfield movement here at all.
Well, and part of this is Ozeata has got to give him better help than that, right? Yeah. Because if you got to check that guy a little bit, because if he's coming across, if you're staying square, he's going to come to you as that left guard. So you got to be square, you got to be strong, and it's going to hold that guy up a little bit. And then Fasusi can come up underneath and dig that out, right?
Yep.
And then you're going to be, as you feel Fasusi take that over, then you can see Ozeata's right arm right here. You can come off of that and get up to your linebacker. That's, but that's little stuff. That's that 2-man game during those drills and practice. You work and you run twists against it, and you have those guys move around and all that stuff. Those are things that they're going to get better at, but it's just a wild world that you live in as an offensive lineman. Sometimes you look bad because your buddy leaves you hanging, right?
Yep.
So, but you're right on,
It looks like he's kind of punching through darkness right here. Like he didn't get contact on, and obviously South Carolina is kind of, this guy's got the low low hand, and as he shoots it out, it just skims right off of his shoulder
again,
pads and doesn't get a piece of him.
X-Man makes up for it. Does it look like Mateer's trying to keep it here? And that's what it kind of looks like he may be.
Well, I mean, he's reading that guy that's the poor guy out there at DN. He's thinking Canic's going to hit him, right? Number one. Right. And then number two, he's like, oh, crap, he's not hitting me. He's doing an arc on me. And so now I got to read Mateer, and it's too late. So he doesn't really crash. And so I think X-Rob just took it is what happened, right?
Yeah,
but I know I'm harping on Ozeata here again, but I want to say one more thing. If you go back right here, what he needs to do there is if Michaela's guy slants to that front side A gap to Michaela's left, that becomes Ozeata's guy. The other way.
Oh, sorry.
If he comes off of Ozeata's right, if that nose comes in that A gap between him and Michaela, right there, that becomes his guy. So that's why he has to stay square.
Yep.
Right. Because with him being turned right there, if I'm a defensive coordinator for another team, I'm running a slant through that gap and making him be correct on his footwork.
Yep.
He would have blown that up. Yeah.
Yep. And then if he does come through that A gap, like you said, it becomes Ozeata's man, and then Michaela carries up to the linebacker like Ozeata's doing right now.
Correct.
Yep. But X-Man just, I don't know what 12 just got confused. I don't know what happened to him here. And then, X-Rob just finds pay dirt.
Well, and that's how fast it happens, man.
Yep.
Yeah. I wasn't
that's the thing
with
too.
The edges or the inside backers of South Carolina. I felt like they just were not very good ballers.
Yeah, they had a rough
getting
day.
lost. They did. They had a rough day.
And these are the little details, too, that go back to the fact of with the O-line and how we're saying it's not always perfect. But with these two young guys on the left side, man, and they're still learning, you have a true freshman at left tackle. And within Ozeata, he still doesn't have a ton of game reps, right? He played some last year, but this is his first year really as the dedicated starter. So he's also learning himself. So that's what leads to this kind of stuff right here is working through these details to where as we move forward in the season, if they're able to iron this kind of stuff out on that left side, this run game should only get better.
Yeah.
So
if they stick with it, right?
Exactly.
If they stick with it, and please God, please let them stick with it because Alex is right on. It's just like seeing a curveball more. The more curveballs you see, the better you're going to be able to hit them, right?
Yep,
but you've got to see it. You've got to get reps, and it's the same for your running backs.
Yep. Sooner Ace just asked, are you covering that right now, Rob?
What? Oh.
He asked, you mentioned layering concepts on top of these run concepts. What would that look like? What additional concepts pair well with these run schemes?
I mean, one of the things I'd like to see, obviously you got to stick with the duo, but what I would like to see is getting into duo and bunch formations or even in condensed. And once you start getting these, you're running in between the tackles ad nauseum, these guys will start to creep in. And if you got a condensed set or maybe even a nasty split, something that looks like maybe you got Giovanni at the point and then maybe Canic. I mean, it is kind of a little bit of an expensive install, but I would like to see them go. You can go pin and pull, so you can start when these guys start creeping inside, you can take your big 200-pound receiver and hit this defensive end, and you can pull one of your better pullers. Maybe I think Weewoo is probably our better puller. You could pull Weewoo, or what you'd end up doing is probably depending on the alignment of the defensive end, you could have either Simmons or who's really athletic out in space and Weewoo, and have them make a call on how to make that block, and then have one of them two pull out, and then you've got your crack block, your pin blocks by Canic and Giovanni Gibson, and then you can start running either running back pin and pull, or you can or even do quarterback pin and pull. You can probably even have big old X-Rob right here leading out as well and do a quarterback pin and pull. I know Ben Arbuckle is not a huge pin and pull guy, but with the way that they've been kind of struggling wide zone, if you want to hit them on the outside, I think pin and pull would be a good complement, especially in some of these condensed sets and nasty splits and some of these bunch disruptors that Ben Arbuckle likes to run. That was the first thing that came into my mind. What do you guys think?
I think you're right on. I mean, the key to it, pin and pull, is very similar to counter in the sense that you need to do something to set it up, right? So at this point, duo is your bread and butter. It is the staple. You want to be able to run that against everybody, but as those overhang players start creeping in, and somebody says they're not going to run the ball against us, we're going to dedicate this guy into it or whatever else, then that overhang player, that half a player that we're talking about in these 5.5 man boxes, what's going to happen is as you go off of that, those outside screens are going to be a lot better, because you fake the duo and then you just throw it out there, because now you got one less player pursuing from inside out. Everybody's sold out to stop the run. The safety in the middle of the field, if they're in a single high look, he's going to start coming downhill. So then instead of 3 and 4 guys on the outside, now those guys like Burks and Satania and now Giovanni Gibson, they've only got 1 or 2 guys to mess with instead of 4. Yep. Because everybody's condensing down trying to stop that, because everything on defense comes at a cost, right? If you're going to blitz, You got less guys in coverage. If you're going to bring guys inside, you got less guys that can get outside. So, if they can stick to this run game, it's going to be a deal where they have to make a decision on what are we going to try to shut down, right? What are we going to pick?
And so in this game, what our little compliment was these arc reads and the wide zone read that we were looking at, where they were trying as preparing for South Carolina to start trying slant in and do their games. We ended up adding these arc read stuff as a counter to it.
Yeah, we keep playing that through slow motion real quick if you don't mind. Exactly where you're at, if you can play it in slow motion. Yeah. Oh, you can't hear me? Did your headphones die? Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to my headphones.
No, I was saying if you could play it from here, slow motion, exactly, and let this play out in slow motion real quick. Let's see.
Yeah.
Now look. So look at what we were talking about earlier. Look what Ozeata's doing again. Yep. He's trying to stay square. He does a little bit better job than on the last play, but still he's turned, trying to work back up to that linebacker. And then look, Fasusi's not able to cut across that Four Eyes face again. He's almost there. It's a little bit better, but he still ends up working laterally instead of working upfield. See?
And if they're able to get anybody on that linebacker right there, then Mateer's got a lot more yards.
Yeah. So again, like JY said, if Ozeata can just start to stay more square in these situations, it will help to open these types of plays up a lot more. So, because look, and Waywo's carried up to the linebacker on the right side. Michael has, got his man locked up. It's just one guy has to take care of that responsibility, and that guy blows it up.
Yep.
So again, a lot more improvement this week, but there's still more details that need to be ironed out to make this run game only get better as we move forward.
The other little wrinkle in this South Carolina game that we had ran this year is we pulled Michael a couple of times, which was actually kind of cool. Like right here on this little center tackle. Is that center? Sorry, is that Wee-Woo? No, that is the center tackle counter read. I thought that was pretty cool. Getting Michael out.
Yeah, that's a bit of
here.
That's pretty close to isn't that basically pin and pull right there? And Way was blocking down, and we kick. Here comes Michael pulling. But now watch Michael as he pulls. And this is something I noticed with him this game. He wasn't very physical this game, working in the run game as much as I would like to see. Watch right as he pulls right there. Look, he kind of just accepts that block.
Yep.
He doesn't deliver a blow. The blow gets delivered to him, right? And then he gets knocked
Yep.
back some. I also noticed with him working to the second level, there were times that linebackers got their hands inside his chest and were able to control him and get off the block where he just was not physical enough. So, next week against Ole Miss, I'm hoping we're going to see Michael play more physical in that regard.
Yeah, this is to me, this is more of a trap look because as a tackle, you watch what Simmons does. He's moving immediately up to that first linebacker that shows right here, and ultimately you can't ask Ozeata to leave that guy where he's at and go over and trap. So it's almost like you want to run long trap out of it because you don't want to run a trap into an A gap, right? So it's almost like long trap on that outside, on that D end right there. But they were just smart with it. And instead of pulling Ozeata, it's a much easier block for him to go inside out on that 3 technique he's got and just pull Michaela, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was watching this, I was thinking that Michael needed to get his helmet on this outside shoulder for Fasusi run and Mateer go out here. Look at all this space out here. Fasusi would have gotten the outside of this backer. Mateer's not much of a guy that likes to run inside. Like he there's times where he wants to avoid, and this is like one of the first times I was like, man, if he did bounce it, he would have had all this grass out here. And if Fasusi didn't lose his balance and kept his feet, they had numbers out here. There's just all green grass, and I'd take Mateer trying to turn a corner on this guy.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, like we were just saying, Michael gets blown back.
Yeah.
On this block, and then it knocks Fasusi off balance.
Yep.
But even there, also look, and Weiwu's getting knocked back too. But
I think this would have been I thought this was a solid call because you've shown the arc stuff, you've gone the jet sweep stuff, and then you've done some duo where they're all kind of trying to collapse in, and then they're still trying to figure out that outside complement to it all.
If you ask me, it actually looks like, and Weiwu's getting pushed back, Michaela, the way he blocks it actually looks like Fasusi's trying to come through that gap to come pick up 15. It doesn't. Fasusi's doesn't look like he's coming outside.
Right.
It's just how it kind of unfolds. He's forced to go outside.
Yeah. So what would that be? CT counter?
I called it CG counter.
Yeah.
I called it CG counter.
Yeah.
And there's another one in here. I thought it was CY counter. But there's another. This is they pulled Michaela on like what you said, like on a trap play where he was just by himself, and it was kind of like like almost like you were mentioning, Alex, kind of like a pin and pull look.
Yeah.
Where that was like a couple of weeks ago. This one you've got our like a motion lead, or sorry, a motion block, like a slice block or your split flow or whatever, and then you've got Michael trying to come out here and do a kick again. He gets much lower, but he's still. Well, you guys take a look at this on his kick block. Does he get enough under this?
No, again, he's not delivering the blow. He's accepting it. Look at that. His feet come to a complete stop, and then 30 delivers the blow.
Yeah,
he does that like a hop.
He needs to be
like
more physical.
Frog hop.
Yeah, I like his pad level, but you can't stop your feet, right? You gotta deliver the blow there.
JY, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Isn't a pin and pull though more so to get the ball outside? It's not where you're pulling a guy to block at the end. You're pulling a guy to get to the second level out on the outside. Yeah.
It's more like a G lead, or you're pulling your tackle. It's not something like this. This is more of a counter look here,
and just kicking them out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're trying to.
And as
yeah, go ahead.
as teams start sucking down inside like what they're doing here, I think ultimately you've got to just tell your center log block that guy, right? And have your puller
Yes.
go around him, log block that guy, seal him inside. And then now your puller, the 18 is Helms coming around. He's up on number 24 right there, and you're out the gate.
Yep.
So,
Counter
but it's a
sweep,
slow
man.
developing play,
Yes.
It's a slow developing play. So,
Which haven't worked the best with this this team. But watch 7 right here, Rob. I know what you were talking about earlier. He blows this play up. Watch him read this and blow it up. Look at that.
Yeah.
He almost blew his ACL too, if you can tell by this block by Helms. Watch what happens to his knee here. He got lucky. That wasn't a bad injury for him.
And look at the ear hole shot Simmons can get if he stays square on this guy and doesn't let him come across his inside leg. Yep. Boom! He could light him up right there. That's a kill shot waiting to happen right there if you're a tackle.
Just missed it.
And you lighting him up like a pinball machine right there.
Who's the tackle that just stops and his guy makes the tackle? Oh, yeah, 56.
Who is it?
I think that was a comment on the last play.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yep.
So I just wanted to note those because I don't see your center pool too often. So
I like it though. I do like it, but he's got to be more physical. He can't pull and let guys light him up. So
yeah. Well, we went through quite a few plays, man. Went through pretty much. I think we're getting better too.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. But yeah, it just shows you, hey, the physicality definitely improved, but details again going into Ole Miss. If those details get cleaned up somewhat, that running game could pop even more. So
yeah,
I'm excited to watch how they're gonna perform against Ole Miss, but also are they gonna stay committed to it? You got to stay committed to it. So
yeah. So let's round out the episode. I want to one thing that you guys want to see from the Ole Miss game. What is like besides, let's say we stick to this mentality. Let's say we stick to inside zone and duo. What's the one thing from each of you that you would like to see from the run game to take that extra little step or big step? JY, I'll start with you.
More physicality.
There we go.
More physicality. You can always work on other stuff, but I think your primary focus as a group of offensive linemen has to be physicality. You have to move people. And, where that's going to come from is in between the ears, and the footwork and all those other things are going to be part of the recipe, but it starts and finishes with physicality, because you do not want to be the reason that your backs can't do something spectacular, right? Don't be the reason that these guys get tackled when they should be popping 20 and 30 yard plays, right? Yep. Don't be the reason that they can't do something spectacular. You got some special athletes that you're blocking for at the University of Oklahoma. Let them eat, right? Don't be that guy, right? Don't be that guy that lets it up.
I think JY hit the nail on the head. So I'll actually transition it to what I want to see this week against Ole Miss is if they can have success like they did or even more against Ole Miss, like what they did against South Carolina. Now that downfield passing game has to start to come to life, right?
Yeah.
So can they start to pop some big plays downfield? And what I want to see them start doing is given. I know he's been trying to work into game shape and all that, but now that you got Gibson in this offense now, is giving that guy a chance downfield, right? Taking some deep shots to Satania and Burks. Let's attack the hash marks down the field with Kanik again. That's kind of that hasn't been as much in the offense, as much lately. So if you can start running downhill and hitting them on play action down the field, man, this offense could become lethal. So that's what I'll be looking for.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I would like to see more I want to see them carry more carries. And I would like to see long sustained drive back to back. I want to see 6-7 minute drive and another 6-7 minute drive. Much kind of like what Texas did to us in that third quarter, where they just controlled the clock in the whole third. I mean, like, you can take over a quarter with just 2 drives, and I would like to see that happen just before we go and play the Tennessee and the Alabama and the Missouri and the LSU. Some of these offenses that score the bet. You want to help your defense have that long drive and then do it again and ice out a quarter. That would, you keep the opposing offense off the field. You help your defense. Your defense is going to be in a bind. I don't think so against Ole Miss, but here pretty quickly they're going to be in a bind. You're going to have to bail them out. Like, it's just modern football. There's a lot of, we're about to get into some barn burners. If we can get this run game to where we can control the clock and legitimately ice an entire quarter out, I would love to see that happen with Ole Miss, who's a bad rushing defense. If we can see that, I think that would make me perk up a lot, big time. That's the next step, right? We got the identity. We've established that. Now let's take that identity and let's take a whole nother step further and say we're going to steal a whole quarter from you.
Yeah,
for sure.
And how many times as Sooner fans have we seen the shoe be on the other foot when we've got the number one offense playing against a really good defense, right? How many times has a defense in a big bowl game or playoffs or whatever else limited what the Sooner offense could do, even with Baker Mayfield, even with Kyler Murray, even with Sam Bradford, and all these prolific offenses we've been able to see. And now we have the defense that can do that, right?
Yep.
Now we have the defense. So we need to do what everybody's been doing to us.
Yep.
And you want to keep Chambliss off the field, man, as much as possible.
Yep.
That guy's electric. So, and Ole Miss has a really good receiver out on the outside. So, this just old school mentality, man. Downhill, keep the ball away from him, run smash mouth, and just wear that defense out. So,
hell yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think we got another great episode in the books, man. Time flies when you're having fun. We're already at almost an hour and a half in, man.
I did see a question earlier about EPL.
Sure.
I was gonna touch on that real quick. He actually, I don't know if this was a decision by Biedenbo or if Ozeata had an equipment issue or got nicked up for a minute, but EPL got in the last drive of the first half. Didn't really get to do much run blocking wise because it was they were trying to drive to go down and score with like a minute and 30 left, so it was mostly pass blocking, pass pro. So he looked decent. He got beat by Brownlow Dindy on a push pull at one point. Just ran right by him. It wasn't a push pull. It was a club rip and just went right by EPL. So his pad level is still too high in pass pro. But he didn't look out of place. He did a decent job on a couple other reps. He had a screen pass out on the edge that he worked inside out and long armed the defender about 5-6 yards downfield that I liked on that possession.
Yeah, I saw that too.
You saw it as well.
Yeah.
So,
that was sick.
But yeah, we'll see what he does as he continues to mature. So, but yeah, just wanted to comment on that real quick.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we went the whole thing. We'll just see what we can do versus Ole Miss. I would like to see the momentum. I think we all want to see the momentum just keep carrying forward. Come back on our next trench warfare pod and see if we added a little layers to it, or we, hope, like JY said, we didn't get amnesia and just kind of forget everything that we just did.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen, but hopefully not. But yeah. Well, all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Champion Standard Trench Warfare Edition, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, that is my standard. Champion standard. Yeah. Run my place, ayy. Keep up with the pace, ayy. If you don't got motion, then stay up out of my face, ayy. It's time to lock in the field, baby, it's game day. 7 rings you can't handle. I'm on a champion mantle. Welcome to my standards. Maybe that's something you can't do. Maybe try a different angle. Maybe try a different play too. Well, you know you're the greatest. Some people might hate you. Champ, yeah, I'm the champ. Yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard. Don't gotta put on a hat. Titles, you know we got that. Yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard. Yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard. Hang my jersey in the rafters. I'm a champ. Champion standard. I'll tell you nobody's safe when it's time for game day. Put up or shut up, you know it's competitive. We will not ever take losses. Yeah, I be playing the game, but at heart, you know I am just really a boss. Youngin' or boomer, don't matter who's on the field, everybody getting sauce. Get down with the team, cause we really one-on-one, yeah. Hey, I'm the man, hey, I'm the man, yeah. Watch how we make fans, while we also make this cash, hey. When it comes to plays, there isn't one we haven't ran, yeah. Competition's getting body, that's no cabin. Champ, yeah, I'm the champ, yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard, don't gotta put on a hat. Titles, you know we got that. Yeah, I'm the champ, champion standard. Yeah, I'm the champ, champion standard. Hang my jersey in the rafters, I'm a champ, champion standard. Champ, yeah, I'm the champ. Yeah, I'm the champ, champion standard. Don't gotta put on a hat. Titles, you know we got that. Yeah, I'm the champ, champion standard. Yeah, I'm the champ, champion standard. Hang my jersey in the rafters, I'm a champ, champion standard. I told you nobody's safe when it's time for game day. I told you nobody's safe when it's time for game day. Champion standard, and we don't play. Champion standard, and we don't play.